Greetings, folks. Crosstrain here, coming to you today from World of Tanks. It's been a while since I've thrown up a replay, and frankly, this is just a game I had in my E-50 a couple weeks ago, and it's a fairly decent game. Now, let me share a couple of things about this replay. First of all, this is from patch 9.7. We are currently in 9.8, so for the first time ever, I've actually reinstalled the old client to bring in a replay from an older version. So I'm actually running this game on the replay with a vanilla client, so you can't see all the fun stuff that normally I would have in a replay. But I wanted to bring it to you because it shows some of the strengths of the E-50. I had gotten this tank probably a couple of days before this. You can see by the map layout, I'm the only one swinging north right now. I do have a Churchill and an E-75. That's what's behind me. I should say a Black Prince and an E-75 coming behind me. But I'm about it. And at one point, I'm going to have 3 or 4 tanks laid out in front of me. So something's clearly shooting at me. Something lit me. Again, vanilla client is slightly different than what I normally run. Here a T-34-3 tries to cut over to the left to the north corner. I put a nice one in his side. Nothing. I took a damaging shot right there. That 34-3 didn't get enough, so he decided to come back and try again. Didn't work out good for him. So I've got a T-54 in front of me. I've got this 34-3. I've got what I know to be only because in game I can tell who shot me. There's an E-50 on the other team who's apparently back in this hill area here because he's shooting me as well. And so I've got a few tanks in front of me here. You can see the E-75 on my team is now behind me. I want to talk a little bit about this tank. So let me just, next time I zoom out, I'll kind of pause this, and I'm sitting here in a position that really plays to the great strengths of this tank. I know that I'm alone against whatever is out in front of me here, which at this point all I know is this 3, perhaps 4 tanks out in front of me. There's a third shot I put in that 34-3, and I think he's learning that he's probably not in great shape right here. So let me pause this for just a second and zoom out a little bit. Let me show you a little bit about this position. The E-50, much like the E-75, of course this is a Tier 9 medium German tank. This thing is super trolly, honestly. In the right position, right place. If you can hide your drive wheel and your lower plate, this tank is just flat trollish. This is a great example in this battle of it. You can see what the enemy. Well, I can't zoom out because I got no mods installed in this back. But basically what I'm doing here is I'm going about 45 degrees or so, 30 to 45 degrees to the direction of the enemies, hiding my drive wheel around this mountain here as much as possible. And creating this just very bouncy front plate here. You can see I've taken a couple of shots off the gun mantlet, one off the side of the turret. I will take a lot of shots that I bounce. In fact, the E-50 is in the back. Eventually will resort to shooting HE at me just to do some damage. So again, you can see that we're kind of entrusted with holding this corner on our own. Our team in the south is going to end up doing a really nice job. But pretty passive gameplay up here. I'm going to go ahead and get it started again. I'll go ahead and click back in. But I just want to say this is about as good a use of this tank as I can. Trying to hide that drive wheel. And just try to take advantage of these tanks when they pop out. You can see I'm just bouncing. In my normal setup, you would see my bounces as well. There's another bounce. You would see my bounces in addition to the hits because I have a counter that keeps track of them. But here you just have to count all the zips and zings that go off my tank. That's where he shot me with HE right there. I think he got me for about 80 damage or something like that. And did track me, so I was obviously exposing too much of my drive wheel. I try hard during this to not, you can see that I responded by doing an LOL for him shooting HE at me finally, but heck, he had bounced 3 or 4 shots already, so I guess I don't blame him at the end of the day. You see this E-75 behind me. You'll see in the post-game stats that he's here with me, and I guess just being here in E-75 is a deterrent for him to, there's another bounce. Just having an E-75 here is a deterrent to the enemies. Even though he ends up doing, I think, 1 shot of damage the entire game. Just having an E-75 there is enough to give them pause, clearly, because they did pause. Now I'm going to bounce a few shots here, too. The E-50 has a great gun. I fire very few premium rounds in this game because well-placed, well-aimed shots from the E-50's gun will get the job done. It's not fantastic penetration on this tank, but it's certainly adequate if you're shooting weak spots. Now, and I just shot the stinking turd of the 34-3 and couldn't do anything. But, so anyways, I'm just going to hold this corner. I got 2 mediums out in front of me, plus I got an E-50. Again, he just bounced off me again. He's still back on this little sniper ridge back here. But he's shooting me every time I pop out here. Finally, the E-50 or the T-54 gives me something to shoot at, and I was able to put a damaging shot into him. Again, I just bouncing, pretty passive play. But again, there's the E-50 is finally frustrated. He's coming up. In fact, he's going to do a full-on YOLO charge. He and this T-54 and one other tank are... actually, you just saw him bounce a shot because I hit him the same angle he's been hitting me the whole time. Just that front angle is armored, or that front armor is angled there. You can see, worked out for me. They are very concerned about the E-50 because they are trying to take care of him first. The E-50 comes up. I'm going to go ahead and. You see, he's going to pop right over the top, not even looking at me. He wants that E-75 out. The T-54 wants the same thing, but unfortunately for him, he didn't. He wasn't able to do such a thing. The E-75 is dead now. So you can see their E-50 charge me now. I actually make a mistake here. I get another damaging shot in here, but now I'm trying to back up, and I can't, and I'm backing up against the hill, so I expose my lower plate here, which is really bad. So he takes advantage of that. So now I've got it. It's him and I, both 1 shots. That's when I do load a premium. You can see right there. Did load a premium just to make sure. About that time, the cavalry was coming, though I ended up doing all that damage. There on the corner. They got there just after I took that E-50 out. So, held that corner with the E-75. Again, the E-75 acted as a turn. You'll see in the post-game stats that he only did, I think, 1 shot of damage, and our team just rolled the other side as well. And that's the end. But this tank just... again, I took the damage at the end when he came over the hill, as long as I was hiding the drive wheel, so I wasn't getting tracked, although I did get tracked 3 or 4 times. You notice I did not use my repair kit because there was no need to. I was in a pretty safe position, and there's no sense in repairing it. You also notice my gunner went down about 2/3 of the way through that engagement. I did not use my medic kit on him, primarily because I was fighting at a range of 50 feet or 100 feet, so there's no real need for stupendous accuracy, which this gun does have, by the way. I just, at that range, I didn't figure I needed to have precision like that. I was close enough to be able to go without. So let's take a real quick look at the post-game stats in this. You will notice here that this is just a second-class mastery badge. So again, it wasn't a great game. It was my first, as I said in my replay account here. It was my first pretty decent game in this. You can see really it only 3 tanks, E-50, T-34, 3 T-54. They may have all been platooned. I know this the 54 and the E-50 were platooned together. 61,000, almost 62,000 credits. I did get a high caliber, picked up a steel wall as well, and you'll see why in just a second. If we go to the team score, you see that I sneakily, maybe, put in 4,100 damage. Only got 2 kills. 1,077 was my base XP, but I did, out damage the next closest person in the match, either side, by a pretty significant margin. Let's look at the C-75. Yeah, 486. That's 1 damaging shot. So freeze, I think it's freeze 999. The purpose he played really there was when there's an E-75 looking at you, most people aren't going to just charge into that gun. So while he didn't do a lot of damage, he did provide with me some cover. Which again, I can't. If I had been alone, then those guys would have been stupid not to charge me. So the E-75 did serve a significant purpose, even though it wasn't dealing damage. He allowed me to do the same. Let's take a look at the detail report. I took 18 shots, hit 16 of them. 11 were pens, so I did bounce 5 as well off of turrets of the 54 and the 34-3, as well as an angled front armor on that E-50. 4,100 damage, as I said. I received 17 hits, of which only 5 penetrated. I bounced 12 shots, almost 3,000, just under 3,000 damage blocked by armor, 2,840. So that's pretty significant. Again, holding that corner. This tank is, personally, I find it to be way more fun to drive than the E-75, maybe because it's just a little bit faster. But I'm really coming to enjoy. I'm still learning to play medium tanks better. But I find this tank to be far more enjoyable than the E-75. And quite frankly, I find it to be far more bouncy than I found the E-75. It's probably just in my imagination, but it's a reality for me. I really do enjoy this E-50 a lot. I've now got about 70 or 75 games in it. I'm 2/3 of the way through the grind to the E-50M. But I really, really enjoy this tank, and I will be keeping this long term because it's just a fun tank. German tanks get a really bad rap, and probably deservedly so. I haven't driven a lot of them for not having great armor. And again, as long as you can take advantage of the strengths of the E-50, it is a fantastic tank. So, Ken, just wanted to bring you. I've had a couple of people on my channel say, "Man, I haven't seen a replay from you for a while. Just want to make sure you're still alive." And I am. Quite frankly, I've had a really tough stretch where I didn't have any replays worthy of sharing. So I did that for a couple of weeks. I've actually been on a really nice run here for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Finally got my 60s back up to a respectable level for me. Geez, over the last couple of weeks, I'm running about 75% win rate. That's a fact. It's been pretty crazy. But still, no really great games, just a bunch of decent games. So, haven't really brought anything or played anything that I thought was worthy of sharing. But today, thought I'd bring you this E-50 game. If you haven't played it before, I'd certainly encourage this grind. I didn't do any of the grind. Let me rephrase that. Because I'm old and I've been playing this game so long, the grind is not appealing to me at all. So frankly, I free XP'd this tank all the way to the E-50, all the way to a fully upgraded E-50. So I've never played it with anything except for full upgrade. And I just use free XP, about 500,000 free XP to get to this point. I had it, so I used it. And I'm not sorry that I did. It's a fantastic tank. So if you work through the medium grind on the German side, this is a great tank to get near the end, and so I would encourage it. Until next time, this is Crosstrain coming to you again from World of Tanks. Hope you enjoyed that today. Drop a like, comment in the comments if you have a thought or want to share something. I talk back in my channel, so you leave me a comment, I will talk back to you. So thank you very much, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Peace.